spread awareness that this is a beautiful language. And I remember there were almost like thousands of people who came ahead saying, can I learn sign language? A change that had started happening. So I would just do a song saying, oh, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us and the world will live as one. And then people would be like, oh, this language is so easy, I want to learn, right? And there were hundreds of people who did that, who learned at least basic. So today, if any volunteer goes and says, my name is so and so, the response is not, are you deaf? The response is, are you volunteer? Can you do this volunteering? And that's the change that I've seen over last 14 years. From the time I learned sign language, till today, I learn a lot of it. So it's ongoing journey.
Yeah, and this is so magical, Prarthana. So here you are, sign language, and then gifts, which are so thought about and thought into,
Right.
such that they make so much of a difference to the one who's receiving it. I like the way you said best half and not better half. Now, how did that best half come into your life after you met at volunteering? All right. Lot of thoughts went together, all right. But when did you decide that you're going to be partners, and did your business start first and then the life partnership?
Yeah, life partnership. So we known each other for almost 15 years now.
Okay.
And 13 years back, we became life partners. And he was still with the corporate world, and we were deciding what do we do. And small incidences like the gift one or the sign language one, or slowly seeing during our volunteering journey, seeing some things that made us feel lots is to be done. As a cause, disability comes to bottom of pyramid. What can we do about it? And probably 8 years. So we started GiftAbled 9 years back, and around 7 years back, Prateek completely moved to social sector as well, and we've been running the show. We started with 1 or 2 people who joined us, and today we are almost like 40-50 people running the show across the country. Feels good because thankfully we've received all the, we have support system where every person who's joined our organization, I would say not just passionate but compassionate. Somewhere everyone wants to bring in that change, whether it is for health, whether it is for education, whether it is for livelihood of people with disability. And at times team keeps telling us like, ma'am, you are like the missionary, or like, passionary, and sir is like the visionary, because he looks it from the wider angle. And right now he's in UP working on projects. So somewhere we felt like, a lot of things have to be done in low income states, especially the aspirational districts. And what best than we going there and understanding the challenges. So Prateek is there for past couple of weeks. We have a team over there working with people with disability on different aspects. So I think the journey that started just with awareness, today we know that we are one of those organization where we can proudly say anything related to disability end to end, we are here, whether it is health, whether it is education, whether it is livelihood. I remember meeting a deaf woman and I was like, looking very weak, what happened? And she was like, ma'am, I was carrying 9th month, water burst, I had to rush to hospital. But I was not aware about pregnancy process because nobody had interpreted. And I was like, why? Because for lakhs together of deaf, there are hundreds of interpreters. Where all they will go, whether they will go to interpret in interviews or for trainings or to hospital. At least in countries like US, it's compulsory that doctor arranges an interpreter. But here, to get an interpreter, it's not easy, right? And she was like, I bore the pain. Next day, I go to hospital. The baby born is dead baby. Now, these are the cases that happen every other day. There was another girl on wheelchair and I was like very bubbly, very enthused. I would say like, some 10 times energy level than what I am. So I'm not in dancer. And I was like, yeah, from your face, I can make that out. And she was like, ma'am, one day I was just drying clothes and I slipped and fell down. I had spinal cord injury. Since then I'm on wheelchair and my dad carries me everywhere. And I was like, why don't you, and these were like almost 10 years back. So I was like, why don't you go to a rehabilitation center, get therapies, get support, right? Get rehabilitated. And her response was like, ma'am, not even one center which is a rehabilitation center residential for women with disability. And that made us realize how for children or women with disability, health is still way behind. Right? We started early intervention center where we identify children in age group of 0 to 6, see what are the therapies that they require, whether it is speech or whether it is occupational therapy, whether it is special education or physiotherapy. And in a month's time, where we have done home visits, whether it is UP, whether it is Karnataka, Telangana, Maharashtra, any place we have gone, we have identified 200, 300 children who do not have access to therapies. They are not aware. Maybe also because for parents, it takes time to accept the fact that I have a child with disability, right? And by the time they accept, that age is gone. So that's when spreading a lot of awareness on health of children with disability. Livelihood, 70% of our population is in rural area. How do we work with them? And that's when we have supply diversity, where there are products made by people with disability. And so there's always this painting. So this carving is done by someone who is physically challenged. Polishing is done by someone who is blind. Now, if I'm buying this and I'm supporting livelihood of two people, and we were like, why not have a bigger version? And today there are a lot of artisans that get supported. This painting is always there on my desktop. And I remember Akhilesh's mom always used to say, what would happen to Akhilesh after we are gone? And that is the fear of most of the parents. What after we are not there? Who will take care of them? What about their livelihood? And I remember our partner Cisco once said, hey, you know what? We need a desktop painting with the theme as Diya, because it was Diwali. And Akhilesh painting got selected. And his mother sends us an SMS that says, Akhilesh is breadwinner in the family. And it did not stop there. Next year, we got similar order with a nice hamper where there were chocolates, this, and a keychain that was carved by physically challenged. And I remember Akhilesh's brother works there. So she sends an SMS saying, you know, Akhilesh's brother has gone on whole floor saying about like, you know, this is by my brother. And he comes home, he says, look, mom, this is by Akhilesh. These are the chocolates made by his friends. And they call Akhilesh, they show him. He looks at the painting, says Akhilesh, Akhilesh, and walks off without even realizing impact he has created on family. Many a times, Prateek, we all keep discussing. And I remember Prateek telling us once, you know, what is disability? It's just two things. A, closed mindset. Second, inaccessible environment. Yeah. If we work on these two, tomorrow disability will not even remain a clause. If I open up my mindset by being more aware or spreading more awareness, if I make my environment, you know, as much accessible as possible, tomorrow, why even I need to think that disability is a cause? Given right accommodation, probably they would perform at par with all of us. Yeah. And that is what is required.